Ho!
Try to relax your anus. 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 Try to relax your anus.
I just wanted some sauce on those zingers.
Your shoulders.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Two quick shameless plugs. First and foremost, make sure you sub to Review Tech USA and leave a like and a comment as well. It helps out in the algorithm. And also make sure to sub to my ASMR channel called Tech 25 ASMR. I'll be having plenty of new content up there this year. I'll have links to everything I mentioned below in the description and top pinned comment. All right, so I actually didn't have a video planned today, but this is major news, and this is really sad. This is a great studio that was just shut down, but I wanted to show first what kind of health the gaming industry is right now, and it's not in good health. So look at how many layoffs there's been over the past 2 years. In 2024, there was like 15,000 employees in the video game industry that were laid off. 2025, it was not as bad, but it was still really bad. There was 9,200 people that were laid off in the games industry. Now, you may think, oh, Rich, it wasn't as bad in 2025, but let me put that into context for you. If you combine 2024 and 2025, a third of video game industry workers were laid off. Devs, it's been a complete disaster. But now, I heard this news and I almost lost my mind. One of my favorite games this generation was the Demon's Souls remake. It was made by Bluepoint Games. Now, besides the Demon's Souls remake, they've worked on Shadow of Colossus. I didn't even know this. They worked on the Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, Gravity Rush for the PS4. That was originally a PS Vita game. They've also done Metal Gear Solid, the HD collection, Echo and Shadow of the Colossus collection for the PS3. I remember that. And way back in the day, before Sony acquired Bluepoint Games, they actually ported the original Titanfall to Xbox 360. So they've been around for a minute, and they've always been known for remaking or remastering games and doing an amazing job at it. Now, Sony just recently acquired Bluepoint Studios back in 2021, and now they're shutting down one of their best developers. An amazing team. We were hoping that they were going to make a Bloodborne remake. Anyway, let me not lose my mind yet. So here we are. Sony shuts down studio behind critically acclaimed Demon's Souls and Shadow of Colossus remake. And this actually comes to us from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. He also used to work for Kotaku back in the day. As first reported by Jason Schreier, the move comes 5 years after Bluepoint Games released its last project, a launch exclusive for the PlayStation 5. That was Demon's Souls. It was also a support studio on 2022's God of War Ragnarok, which is why even on limited hardware, that game runs pretty damn good on PC. Now, a Sony spokesperson said this: following a recent business review, the decision was made to close Bluepoint Games in March, which, why, they're an amazing studio. Oh my God. It just shows you what bad shape the games industry is in right now. Bluepoint Games is an incredibly talented team, and their technical expertise has delivered exceptional experiences for the PlayStation community. We thank them for their passion, creativity, and craftsmanship, and now they're unemployed. See ya. Capitalism strikes again, am I right? I forgot it was Bluepoint behind this. I remember hearing this back in the day. They were going to make a God of War multiplayer service game, which whoever thought that was a good idea from the top down should just be fired. No one was asking for that. No one. Stop being so desperate to try to make your own Fortnite. But anyway, the Texas-based studio was acquired by Sony only a few years ago in 2021 and was most recently working on a live service project. The game, which was reportedly a multiplayer God of War spinoff, was canceled in early 2025. because how many people were clamoring for that. Great way to allocate resources there, Sony. Now that means about 70 people are going to be laid off from Bluepoint because they're shutting down the studio. I can't even believe I'm forming those words. Here I'm thinking that Sony has all these big plans for Bluepoint, and yeah, no, they're just getting rid of them. Again, like it was when they asked him to make a live service game, that should have been a red flag. But you were hoping, all right, that didn't work out. Obviously, a Bloodborne remake, like I said, or some other game that they could remake, or even making an original IP. I know, gasp, right? It would be a good idea. But God forbid we try to do an original IP in 2025, right? I mean, think about other studios in 2025 that had layoffs. You had Microsoft, Warner Brothers, NetEase, Ubisoft. It just, the industry is contracting. And I know it's never going to be a crash like what happened in the early 80s with the video game industry, but I can we say right now that there is some kind of soft crash at this moment? I think it's safe to say, and hate to bring up what I always bring up in other videos, and here it is again, putting a damper on something. This is partially due to AI. We've seen, like with Black Ops 7, they got called out that they're using AI artwork. Who would have been doing that artwork if there wasn't AI involved? Actual human beings, actual artists. And combine this together with the fact that every goddamn AAA developer is so desperate to try to find their own Fortnite that they just want a piece of that pie so bad. And it's such a slim chance. It is such a slim chance that you will ever get the opportunity to make your own Fortnite. It is absolutely ridiculous. But I guess in their minds, whether it be Sony, Microsoft, or you pick another AAA company or developer, that there's so much money in there that if they strike the gold and make their own Fortnite, that it's worth almost ruining their companies for, on the never-ending pursuit to get their own microtransaction money. And then you combine together, I know I don't shut up about this, but RAM prices, component prices. We already have Nintendo. I've talked about it. I wasn't going to make another video, and you guys have been like, oh God, Rich, we get it. The Switch 2 price might increase, but gaming hardware is getting more expensive. Studios are being laid off. People just can't afford, at least for now, and probably sadly for the foreseeable future, as many luxury items, because everything else, their utilities are going up, their mortgages are going up, their rent is going up, and they may want to play the newest AAA game, but it's more important to keep their lights on and keep a roof over their head. And combine all this together, and it's a recipe for disaster. And you also going more into tech too. They're saying that if you aren't like a big major tech player like Apple or Microsoft or HP or Dell or something along those lines, companies that I love, like Minis Forum, for example, I have a computer of theirs right in front of me here that I made into a Steam machine. They may go under, and I don't want to see that, because some of the best mini PCs I see are not from the major brands. They're from these more obscure brands that are making great products. And you may not see them anymore, because who the hell is going to spend $2,000, I'm exaggerating maybe slightly, in the future on a mini PC with mid-range specs? I don't think it'll ever get that high, but it's going to be higher than what people want to spend it. If no one's buying their products, these companies that are making great products that aren't big players in the tech industry are going to shut down. Everything sucks right now. Great studios like Bluepoint are shutting down. Products are becoming unaffordable, and we're getting deeper and deeper into that dystopian future that I don't want to see happen. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.